What's up, y'all? This is Drake Cut being Drake Cut. Real talk video, just trying to motivate you guys, and hopefully this impacts you. Um, just know that not everyone is for you, and people secretly do things to try to take you down. The higher you grow, okay? They attach to you, or they know too much about you just so they can be a deterrent. And I'm going to tell you why I'm saying this, okay? I purchased a home on 196 in Gleason like 5 years ago. It was me and Sarah's, home that we lived in, and we remodeled it and made it really nice. uh, I wanted a bigger home. That house was only like 1,700 square feet. And I'm like, hey, man, I want my own stuff. I want my own thing going on. So I wanted a workshop. And, I wanted, I have a lot of stuff, and I needed more space. So we ended up buying another home and converting that house that's only like 1,800 square feet into a rental. Now, in the process of turning it into a rental, we had a couple different little renters that, it was furnished rentals. I just don't like people on my stuff. I got really nice stuff, and I think people don't really take care of people's stuff when it's not theirs. You know what I mean? They had their animals on my couches. They were like, ruining my beds and not using the liners. It was like, it was just a crazy situation. And some people are okay with that. Me, I'm very particular about my things. Like, I buy quality because I want it to last and I want it to be great. And they weren't treating my home like that. So I said, instead of it being a rental, let's convert it into another school. All right. And when we decided to change this house into another school, we started to get notices in the mail for like citations or violations that we were doing. Now, mind you, I know the childcare industry front, back, side to side. Gosh, this is my sixth location. I'm not new to this. I've been doing it for like 9 years, okay? My wife has been doing it before we started our school, 10 years. So here it is, her collectively having 19 years of background in it, and me having 9 years of owning one. And I was a teacher in a school for years, and we have degrees, and we're not just people just doing bad things. You know what I mean? I'm wondering why we're getting these violations. And I go to the city like, okay, you guys said I need a business permit, but I don't need a business permit until we operate. If we're not operating yet and we're just fixing this place up, the moment we need a business permit is when we start to bring in customers or clients and things like that. So you guys are sending me a violation that I'm doing these things and we're not operating. So you have to void those. Okay. So handle that. Okay. I get another notice. Here's a violation. You're operating. Oh, well, you don't have a child care's license. You don't have all these different things. And I'm like, why do we keep getting these notices? So I reach out to the city and I ask them a few questions, and I'm like, what's going on? I feel like I'm being harassed, right? I'm being harassed. Someone's really after, trying to take me down, trying to cause me issues and problems. It's just all kinds of little stuff that people do when they see you doing well. They try to, put jabs at you. So I asked them, can you disclose, how you're coming up with this information to give me these violations? And they said, we can't let you see who the person is, yet we can give you the correspondence back and forth we've had with that individual about your location. Fast forward, I guess one of my neighbors decided that they didn't want us to have a preschool in the location on the block, and they have been calling about everything that they can because we did not ask the neighbors, should we like, are they okay with us doing that in our home? Now, mind you, we don't have to ask anyone to operate a preschool. We don't have to get any ordinance or anything. We're running certified centers. So they're trying to do all these different things. Now, the problem is, in this situation, is that one of the advising officers or reporting people had made a relationship with the lady and back and forth, and they were communicating so much about our operation and what we do that they started to search our Facebook. They started to look us up on Zillow. They started to look up our pictures and try to match into what rooms in the houses that the school is navigating in, and figuring out our times and dates, and do we have this insurance policies, and what does the state say, what areas we can use, and how do we occupy the home if we live there partially of the time. They were trying to figure out everything. And funny thing is that I guess the officer went above what they were supposed to do. And when I sent emails, they responded back. They didn't, maybe, I don't know if they were, I can't really tell you what they were thinking, but their responses to me weren't really ethical or made any sense, and it pretty much compromised themselves. You can't tell a person that they can't have their trailer with their logo in their driveway. Or if I'm going to leave it in the driveway, put a sign over it or a cover over it so no one sees our logo. That's a little over the top. Okay, they were saying all kinds of stuff. Oh, we need to inspect your house to see where your bed is at. They were saying all kinds of crazy stuff that was so outlandish to like what ethical is in this situation, that I reached out to a couple of officials and I had a conversation with them. And in the process of that meeting, they put that employee on leave, or that employee decided to take a leave. And I'm like, this is crazy. Okay, story's almost done. So after they take leave, I get more information and I find out that it's the neighbor across the street. Not just directly across, but across and a little bit down the way, okay? I'm not going to give you exactly who that person is, okay? And they have been taking pictures and sending them into the city, and they have been calling so much to the point where that officer just wanted them to stop calling and complaining that she was going to do whatever to suffice that neighbor. I would call that neighbor a Karen. Maybe I shouldn't say that. I don't know. But at the end of the day, we were doing everything by the book, and we were told that, hey, man, don't worry about anything. Everything's great. We've talked to that advisor, and that neighbor ended up coming over to the property when they see me next and lying, saying that they didn't do all these things. And it's so funny, when I'm having this conversation with them, I'm telling them dates and times that they did it, because I had the whole transcript of every time they called, what they said, what they sent, and how they sent it. And she's just making all of these like lies. Oh, I didn't know how to get in contact with you. And I'm like, ma'am, you're on my Facebook. How do you not know how to get in contact with us? Oh yeah, I just thought you would need this or have to. And I'm like, ma'am, you're lying. Like, why are you making up all these lies? It was just crazy to hear her make up all these things, and I had all the information. And then she started breaking down crying. Okay, started crying, saying, "Oh, my husband, he had heart surgery." Like, ma'am, what does your husband and heart surgery have to do with you trying to cause me harm and hurt my business, and and trying to get me violations? What does that have to do with me? Like, I don't even know you, ma'am. I've never talked to you. Okay, so to make the story short now, she finally apologized to me and says, well, can you take my apology? I just have a lot of things going on in my life. And I'm like, ma'am, if you want to send an apology to me, right? If you want to send an apology to me, or you want to tell me about your apology, sent it in an email. It was so funny to receive this email from this lady who couldn't reach me or couldn't talk to me personally. She knew how to send me an email because she knew my website. She knew my name that's attached to the. She did too much research to try. The email she sent was so horrible that I did a follow-up email with her saying, hey, that's not the email that I was thinking I was going to get of an apology. It sounds like you really don't know how to take accountability for doing bad to people. That's what I said to her. It was crazy. So at the end of the day, she sends another couple more emails that don't mean anything. But at the end of the day, we live in a world in which you have to make sure that you're doing business correctly. There's people who really don't want to see you do well. There are people who target you. And as long as you're a good person and you're doing the right thing, there's nothing anyone can do to stop it. That's the moral of the story. If you do the right things, don't take any side, like try to cheat the system or try to figure out ways to get over or not do something or skip steps. I could have got these citations. It could have put a real pause in our program. But when you do things the right way, you never have to worry. And you'll come out flawless and victorious like I did. Hey, and all I can do is pray for that lady. Hopefully her life contains more in it than watching me and how I come and go and what I do. Because after you didn't call the city and emailed in over 30, 40 times, it gets a little crazy. It gets a little crazy. You need a part-time job. You need a part-time job. Maybe you can help us with these kids. Maybe you can help us with their, come across the street or come down the street and across, and, you can help us. The children will bring some joy in your life. Until next time, y'all. Peace.